joining us today. This is the Yvonne McComb Show, and I have our lovely guest, Miss Ebony.
Hi.
Yay! So, how are you today, Miss Ebony?
I'm good. I'm good. Today's a great day. Just relaxing. No work this week, so I'm blessed.
Amen. Yes, that's very blessed. Wait, hold on. Do you hear the background? My background is loud.
I hear that. It's like,
Yeah, the maintenance decided to do some work underneath us.
in the evening?
If it's too loud, let me know.
Okay.
Okay, so Miss Ebony, tell me a little bit about yourself. I know you, but give something to the audience. Who is Miss
Okay.
Ebony?
Well, I'm still figuring that out, but I am a college graduate. I just recently got my master's. I am from Sacramento, California, now living in Los Angeles. I came here to be with my now husband and daughter. So I'm a wife. Um, and I don't know what else to say.
That's enough right there. Those are all great accomplishments and highlights. Now, since you became a college graduate, would you say things have been differently? Like maybe trying to juggle everything, juggle being a wife, being a graduate, working, being an
Um,
entrepreneur, because you missed that part.
oh yeah. I'm working on that part. That's why I said I'm still becoming and finding out who I am.
Okay.
Entrepreneurs in there. I just found that out a couple years ago. But I so I would say just being a college graduate and juggling that, that's fine because I was, I've graduated like what, 6 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say juggling getting like while in my master's program and trying to plan a wedding.
Oh, okay.
What else was what I and learning a new job. I would say
Mm-hmm.
juggling that was a lot. But I graduated the same week that we got married, so I never experienced what it felt like to be a wife and go to school.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I would say juggling all of those other things before the wedding while in school, that was a lot.
Mm-hmm. And what did you study in school?
I got my bachelor's in social work and I got my master's in counseling psychology.
Come on, black woman. So, out of all the fields in the world, why did you choose those?
That's a good question. So, okay, I think so. I don't think these are going to be cliche answers, but I chose social work really because I think that when I started college, I wasn't ready for the college journey. They ask you, can you see me still?
No. Oh,
How about
you're
now?
good now.
Okay. I was just going to say, they ask you, what you want to be at such an early age. Nobody really knows that. So I was in college for a while, and my aunt actually started going to school with me. And she was telling me about social work and how much she loved it. So that's when I started taking some social work courses, and I actually loved it, and I loved my internship. So I changed my degree from, I believe it was like women's studies, to social
Mm-hmm.
work. And I really did love learning about people and society and how different theories and everything, how they interact. But what made me get my master's in counseling psychology is I just wanted to dig a bit deeper in, into who
Mm-hmm.
people are and why we are who we are, and, a little bit of studies about the brain and functionality and stuff like that.
That's awesome. Now, as a beautiful black woman you are, did
Thank
you
you.
find any roadblocks or hindrances when trying to begin this field in counseling or getting your master's, like just by being black? Because right now, I know everybody's seen the news. There is so much racial tension So I'm just like, what are your thoughts? And I
Um,
asked two questions in one.
yeah, I don't know which one to start with. So I'll start with the first question. I think that getting a degree and being black is hard just because there's not too many people that are rooting for you. Well, depending on where you went to school, I guess, but there's not too many people in high school really rooting for black people. I feel like it's not
Mhm.
shown, and the teachers don't show us. That was my experience. Um, to further our education. So I
Mm.
think it's expected of us to do the minimum. So it was expected of me to go to, community college and become whatever. Or I've heard a teacher say, not all of us are college material. Like, dang, and that's
Oh,
when I was talking about school. Like,
wow.
but I think when people say those things continuously to you, sometimes we start to believe them.
Yeah.
And so I think I let that sink in, but I would say that there was barriers, mental barriers, getting the bachelor's, but then also another level of mental barriers and kind of feeling like you don't belong there when you're going to get your master's,
Mhm.
because there's not that many black people sitting in the college classroom with us, and then you want to get another one, like people start to side argue a little bit. But I would say for me, I had the pleasure of going to a school that was really diverse. Um, so and it was all women. So I was also
Mhm.
always sitting with women who understood what it felt like to be a minority and in higher education. So that was actually a really beautiful experience for me.
Mhm.
Sorry if
Okay.
I'm too
Awesome.
long-winded.
No, that's good because I put two questions in one. So
Oh yeah, yeah. And then that second one, the second question. Sorry, I can answer that.
it's okay.
That's a lot for it. I'm still trying to gather my thoughts about it. I'm feeling a lot of ways. Mostly, my soul is just feeling shaken, and I never want to say I feel defeated, but this has been a long journey for our people. So I'm feeling a
Yeah.
little bit on the cusp of defeated a little bit, and I'm trying
Yeah.
to speak to my spirit. I'm trying to talk to God to just feel higher.
Yeah.
But I am, because it just seems like they just keep killing our people.
Mhm.
Um, there's no systematic change that has been made. There's uh, our current president and our, his running mate haven't talked about what they're going to do to help
Right.
us, and it's just like we do need our reparations. We
Mhm.
do need the playing field to be even. We need more money invested into our communities. Like, there's a lot of things that we need. So I don't know. I feel all of that. I feel like
Yeah.
because this man was able to just get killed like that in daylight,
Right.
nobody helped. Nobody thought of him as being a human being. It's like it's
Yeah.
2020. You're still doing that.
Mhm. Yeah.
Mm-mm. I have just a lot of feelings about that. It hurts.
And I think that we all do, especially right now, because last week it was Ahmaud Arbery, and I'm sure
Mhm.
there's countless others we just haven't seen recordings of. But on
There was a
social
woman too.
media, yeah, Breonna Taylor, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but it's just we're plagued with it, and we can't ignore it. So I was searching today because I'm like, I have to take action. So I'm gonna join this the NAACP meeting today just to see like what are we doing in the community, because I'm glad you talked about God earlier, because truly He has to get us through this. I know we are shouting no justice, no peace.
Hmm.
I know we're seeing it countless times, but it's like, okay, now it's about action. It's about moving our feet, lifting our voices together collectively, and
Hmm.
doing something.
Hmm.
But I feel you too, and I can't voice how I feel because this is Christian programming.
Yeah. I said mine the nicest way possible.
Yeah, like it makes you extremely angry.
Mhm.
I will say I've been thinking a lot about Malcolm X. That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, it's just rough. So hopefully
Sorry,
um
let me grab this cord real quick.
okay.
Dropping stuff. Maybe. Okay, go ahead.
Hopefully when we go to our community we can get help in the community. Now, we're both believers, we're both Christian. Where do you see God in all of this? Because some people can't see God at all.
That's a good question. So, I think that I was actually just thinking about this today. Um, and I will say that's something that I'm still praying about. I'm still thinking of, because when I
Mhm.
think of the struggle of our people, um, I just think that it's time for us to have a break.
Yeah.
So I think that's something that I'm actually still just pondering on.
Hmm.
Something that keeps me is looking at where we were when we were first brought here to America
Okay.
compared to now.
Hmm.
And so I will say that I think that Black people, especially African American people, are some of the most spiritual people. And so
Yeah.
I do feel like at this point, you do have the strongest of the strong, physically, emotionally, spiritually. We're still here. So I feel like in that way, that gives me hope that God hasn't forgot about us. Like He's still helping us. Helping us. There's a bigger picture that we can't see, because I can't
Yeah.
see it. I do not
Right.
see.
Right.
I don't see it. It's not clear yet for me.
Yeah.
But the world always goes through different cycles, you know.
Hmm.
So I think that there has to be a bigger picture, and that to me,
Yeah. And
we walk
there's
by faith, not by sight. So that's my faith. That's my faith.
exactly. And that's excellent. You said that. That's a great foundation of scripture because that's basically how we move as beings because God is spirit and we can't see in the spiritual realm. So we have to operate and move out of faith. And it really comes back to trusting in God. Like, okay, God, you know this is happening. You knew way before we were going to know. When you created these men and these women, you knew their end date.
Mhm.
So it's like it still has to come back to like pausing and be like, okay, God, who are you and who do I know you to be? I know He's not just trying to kill us all. I mean, He's not. I know He's not doing that, but I do understand we're resilient people. God is still God and has been God, but I think we need to pause, remember, and pray, but pray with action because the Bible does say faith without works is dead. So a lot of people see like, oh, this is happening, this sad, and then they change to something else. Like, no, it's getting too ruthless out there. And really, what's shaking me now, I have a
Mhm.
son now,
Mhm.
and so I've been emotional all week because I'm like, this, nah, I gotta do something. I have to get up in these streets, not to go kill myself, but I do have to get active because it's real.
Yeah,
It's so real. And
I
you got
think
a
that.
black man at home.
Yeah, and we might have Black sons and daughters, and we can't forget about
Yeah.
our daughters, because sometimes they go under the radar. But definitely,
Right.
Black men are under attack.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say, I think what you said is exactly right. Like, um, we need to all be on the same page and on the same
Yeah.
understanding.
Mhm.
And it's crazy. I'm just gonna go. It's not. It's funny that people say that, because I honestly think that Black people are some of the only people who have always had to be on the same page, but we have to be because our lives depend on it, which
Exactly.
is so sad, and that's a lot of pressure. But I think
Yeah.
that if we want to see some change, we're gonna have to move as if the Asian people move and the Jewish people move.
Right.
And
Together.
yeah, and if you're
Yeah.
not on the agenda,
Mhm.
you can't come with us.
But it's so real. Like
Gotta
you
say it
have
nice.
to. Yeah, I was listening to Reverend Al Sharpton today, and him and Eric Gardner's mom was talking, and they
Mhm.
were saying like we're the most resilient people, and we as Christian, as spiritual, we're always forgiving and we're moving on, and we're supposed to do that. However, I feel the frustration of them and the looting and terrorizing. I feel that. I feel that.
Yeah.
However, I'm like, how about we just gather and let's get our foot action going. I understand there's protests and they're nonviolent. I get that, but I would love to see us all doing something. That's why I'm like, this is a break. Everyone, reach out to your community NAACP. Start there, or the community, whatever organizations you can get yourself in,
That's
because
a good
they're
idea.
definitely talking about it and they're definitely organizing some things. So I know mine for San Bernardino County is tonight at 6:30 via Zoom. Get on your social media, just look up NAACP and you're gonna
Mhm.
find some info. Like, do something, guys. Okay, that's over.
Okay. That's a good idea. I was thinking like, ooh, I gotta do that. I'm gonna look it
Yeah,
up when we get off.
yeah, because I'm just like, I can't just
Sit.
be sad for a little bit and then nothing.
Yeah. But I was just like, well, we talked about this a little bit earlier. It's just like we've had so many people stand up that they have been able to sit down. So I'm just thinking, well, what if it's multiple people stand up at one time? You can't get
Right.
all of us,
Exactly. Yeah.
you know. And I understand the looting too because you feel like I said, almost defeated him. It's like when you feel like
Hmm.
you're backed into a corner, you start doing everything, anything. Listen, help me, help us, and that's what
Right.
they're asking for. Nobody needs no extra bread. Well, people need it, but I saw a grocery store. I said, dang, they took everything.
But yeah, that's so true. And what I think about is that we just like I think about us being in this pandemic,
Hmm.
COVID 19. Some people's mental health right now is already off. So
Hmm.
to throw this on top too, they going off. Like it is what it is, and I don't know. There's a lot
And they're not,
of
wrong.
yeah. Mhm.
They're
Yeah.
not wrong.
So something definitely needs to happen. I believe you told me yesterday what Diddy said was that our vote is not free anymore.
Oh yeah. So I've been following him a lot because I'm waiting for him to actually act. Like I feel
Mhm.
like those that have money in America, we know that, have access to resources and people that I
Right.
would never imagine to have access to. But anyways, I've
Mhm.
been following him because he said he also had another summit and talked about race a little bit to look at that. But he was telling Biden that our vote is not free anymore. It's no longer
Yeah.
free. Like you can't just get the black vote because you use hip hop music, or you can't get the black vote because they promised us, a little bit of extra tax breaks or money. Like I was thinking
Yeah.
about that. Like they dangle little things in front of us. Oh,
Mhm.
have this, like what, like why? We just, and at this point, I feel like the black community is educated enough, and we have a better foundation to say like we don't want that anymore. Like give us the real stuff.
Yeah.
Give us the fair
Right.
law.
Mhm.
Give our schools some books. Give our
Yeah.
students more. I don't know, anything, something.
Right. And I totally agree with you. And what I keep thinking about was out of all the years to be born and to be the age we are now, like we're in this time
Mhm.
during this season with
Mhm.
the COVID, with the brutality, with just everything, like now. So I believe that God is very intentional in where He places His people.
Mhm.
So, like, hint, hint, y'all, we all supposed to do something right now.
Yeah. Get up. I don't know what it is. I feel like calling your governor. It's just, and also it's funny that you say that because I was just like, we're right. We just, and I will say, experienced the first black president.
Mhm.
And the crazy part is the first black president was addressing the same stuff with police brutality.
Yeah.
And then they turned around and voted in this person, and I'm just like, We're in a very odd time. We've seen great things and we've seen terrible things.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
millennials are going to be the pivotal, or hopefully the good pivotal moment that America needs.
Yeah.
I hope. Because I do hear a lot. I see a lot more people that are non-black standing up.
Yes, and I love seeing that today. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
seen them in the protest like, what? Okay. Okay.
They're leading some of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's all we
Yeah.
need.
So even I seen he's a local Christian rapper, Christopher Sando, shout out. But he even had a post on his I think it was Facebook, and I was just like, look at you, okay, Chris. So I love to see the diversity. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, it's nice to see. I always think like this is the first generation, 2020, where this might sound we were really experiencing the nicest Europeans our people have
Mm,
ever experienced, and
yeah.
I can see now like with the mayor of Missouri, he was
Yeah.
speaking about how this is not okay, and
Mhm.
I haven't seen former officials really speak on that as passionately as he did.
Right.
And
And
he's
demand.
hmm
Yeah.
that gives me hope because we're finally going to be standing together. I mean, except Bernie Sanders, I saw him out there. Remember, he was in the little civil rights thing. The police came on him back. Back out. So maybe we got more of those on our hands. That would be a blessing.
Yeah. So when because you mentioned hope, you said that makes you hopeful for that one who may tune in, and this whole thing it just beats them up, and they can't find that hopeful
Mm-hmm.
spot. How would you encourage them?
Ooh, that's a really deep question. I think it takes a lot of reflection. I'm trying to.
Mhm.
I had to think how because yesterday I was looking crazy. Like Napier walked in. That's my husband, y'all, and I was just crying like this is terrible. He was looking at me like, girl. Yeah. But I think that it takes a lot of reflection. I think it starts with yourself, right?
Mhm.
It takes a lot of reflection of who you are, where are your goals, where are you going, how can you implement change. I think asking yourself those questions first gives you hope because we have something to do and somewhere to go, and God gave us a purpose, and we still have to fulfill it. So I feel like
Yeah.
having hope that maybe your little footprint, can or the seeds that you plant will bloom into something bigger. For me, that was my hope. Like, I can't get
Mhm.
distracted. Like, this stuff has been going on. It's not right and it's not okay, but it's been going on. I can't let it stop me. There's people who
Right.
have persevered past me, and there's people whose shoulders I stand on. So it's just like they got past this. That's the hope that I have. I have to keep going
Right.
and pass it on to my kids because their day could be much better.
Exactly. And that was beautifully said. I love the part when you said God gave everyone a purpose. Some people don't know that their purpose, some people don't even know about God.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would you share with those people? Because we don't know who this may touch, who may get their hands on this to hear. And they're like, God, what's that God they talking about?
That's a deep question too. Uh, I just think of that is pretty deep. I'm trying to think that question of it's like of hope. Like, so this is what I'm thinking of. So I feel like when people, I remember my mom saying like that's a godless nation. Sometimes she'd be dramatic. I remember she said that one time like godless. Like to be without God is to be without faith, to be without hope, to be without grace,
Mhm.
to be without mercy, to be without love, to be without kindness.
Yeah, you better preach, girl.
Like who wants to be without all of those things?
Yeah.
So I think that that person that's like wondering or doesn't have that to try it or try to reach out. And I think a lot of things that people forget and a lot of things that Christians forget is that God lives within us.
Yeah.
And we all sit on, we're the son and the daughters of the king or the most all high. So it's just like, who can tell us what we can or cannot have? And I think many times when people are wandering this world without that, it's just like, just try to have faith in God, or try to have faith in yourself, or connect through nature. He's everywhere. You see it in the flower,
Yeah.
you see it in a stream, in the ocean, in your children. I don't know. I think it's just that feeling that we have to hold on to. But I can't describe it. I don't know. I think people just have to try it on their own.
You just described it. That is excellent. Like that, I love how people describe it in their own individual way, because God is different to everybody,
Mm-hmm.
and they all have their own individual, peace with God, and I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I
I think
thought about it. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say we forget about that word omni, like
Mhm.
omniscient, omnipotent, like you're everywhere. You can't escape,
Yeah.
especially when you're feeling that love. So sorry.
No, it's okay. That it's good stuff. Now, Miss Ebony told you guys, like, if you never tried God before, to try God. Just give it a chance. And I would love to hear from you if you are being introduced to God for the first time, and if you're wanting to know more. All you have to do is be like, you know what? It's called prayer, which is just talking to God. God, I don't know you. I'm messed up. I've sinned, but I believe who you are. So would you come into my heart? And immediately he'll begin the transformation, so you can experience the peace, you can experience the love. Now, if there's things you're struggling with, it doesn't happen immediately sometimes. So you got to be patient with yourself. However, he loves you, and he's definitely waiting with open arms when you are ready to accept him. Okay, guys? So if you have accepted him, please let me know by commenting on my page, okay? Okay. Now, Miss Ebony, is there anything else that you would like to share with the audience before we go today?
Oh no, no! I really loved this conversation. I love what you're doing, and
Oh.
especially when you said, I like that you pointed out. This is just a summary of the things that I liked. I just like that you really. I think this is important for people to know too, that you pointed out like everybody worships and celebrates God and experiences God in different ways, and I definitely think that sometimes how I practice is different than others would.
Mm-hmm.
That's very important for people to know. Like, if you're talking to God
Yeah.
and communicating with God and doing His will, like, don't be so hard on yourself. That's good.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And that's way important. Like I'm sometimes still learning that now, because like God didn't make me like you and vice versa. And that's okay. He made us how we are. But one thing is, like, when we do address God, like, boldly go before him, because like you said, we're heirs of the king. So if
Hmm.
that makes us heirs of the king, like, I'm a queen and you're a queen.
Hmm.
The men's are the kings. We're
Yeah.
royalty, So
Yeah.
royalty is not a punk, and royalties are not weak. We're
Hmm.
strong. So if we,
Yeah.
like, my pastor, she said yesterday, no, this morning, she said that we need to walk in our authority. And it's
Hmm.
like, that's true. Like, I
And I
have to
think,
think, when do I do that?
mhm. Yeah. And another thing, just when you're walking in authority, something that I had to realize, I think I really realized this more so in grad school, so in the last 2 years ago, that we walk in confidence, that we walk in
Yes.
boldness, that we walk in braveness, that we walk in
Mm-hmm.
beauty, that we walk in elegance. Like, I think a lot of times, especially we were just talking about being, African American, we walk with our heads down, or it's like,
Yeah.
no, we weren't designed to do that. We weren't designed with fear.
Yes.
We are, like you're saying, heirs of the throne. Walk
Yeah.
with your head held high in that. So,
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, if you have nothing else to share, and I don't either, that,
Okay.
you guys, was Black excellence at its finest. So I do thank you, Miss Ebony, for joining me on the Ivama Combs Show today. Please, everyone, please like, comment, and subscribe. I read all the comments, so keep them on coming. And you guys have a blessed day.